Last time you saw us go through this Ender 3 Pro to try to get it printing, but we found one heck of a surprise in this extruder. I got a new one. Let's get it installed. All right, we've got a dual gear extruder, the same one that is actually present on the machine right now, but this one is a little worse for wear. Let's take a look at what comes in the package here, because interestingly, some of the stuff we're not going to reuse. Some of it we will. We're gonna get the printer heated up so we can pull the filament out, because that will be required. One thing to note that I did not mention in that last video that we'll card to right above me is that this filament kind of sucks. It is not round. Like, it's not even square. It's oval is being nice to it. We have diameters as low as 1.66 and as high as 2.2. So buyer beware. No wonder this thing has been having problems, because this is real Capricorn tube. And Capricorn tube is quite a bit thinner on the ID, the interior diameter. Normal Bowden tube, this is normal Bowden tube, is 2 millimeters interior. Cap tube is 1.9. And that may not sound like a lot, but that means that you don't have a lot of leeway for your filament if it's not in spec. And that's actually a good thing in my opinion. Got the hot end hot, push them out, then quickly pull it out. Beautiful. Looks all right. Yeah, this GST stuff, it's cheap. Buy at your own risk. I want to go tour their facility, but they never returned my email. And I'm sure this video is not going to help that. All right, I'm going to cheat. I don't feel like telling it to cool down, so I'm just going to turn it off and then on again. And that will reset the temperatures. We're going to get some Allen keys, particularly this one. We're going to start tearing apart this extruder. We're going to show you guys what went wrong on it as well. But you know what? Let's get a close-up cam running here. All right, let's get this extruder torn apart. We're going to take a look at some of the damages that occurred on it, you know, from the last time we were in it. Now, I'm curious because I ran the print you see on the bed as well as a benchy with this new screw on the idler side. So I'm curious to see if it's seen any wear. So we've got a little bushing, the screw, and we've got this piece here. And you can actually see, hopefully the camera picks this up, where it's actually ground through, which is definitely not what you want. Oh, wow, already. Holy crap. This was a brand new screw. You can see the threads are already all galled up and basically getting destroyed by those ball bearings. I even lubed this thing up thinking, oh yeah, if we apply enough lube, we can move the world. Nope. Not good enough. And because this is legit cap tube, I am guessing that this is also legit cap tube ends. So we're going to reuse these ends, or at least this one end. From here, we're using the little bag of tricks here. Getting some of these screws out so that we can pull the extruder off. Now, most likely, the plate that I'm pulling off is actually totally fine. Well, there goes the motor. Should have seen that one coming. But most likely the plate is totally fine. Oof. What the sin? It's grease. Why? 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 Oh. Didn't want to get my hands dirty today. All right, I'm going to take off this hob gear as well. I'd like to put a different one on there. Basically a brand new one. Yeah, take a look at that damage, though. That is no joke. Absolutely no joke. Now, the one that we ordered is a little bit different than the one that is present. Ooh, all right. Hey, starting off to a good start. We've got a little brass... It's a little pointing bit here. We got a little brass washer that should keep that from happening. But it's got a Bowden connector on there, which will keep the filament from grinding through the freaking metal like it did there. You can see that hole is all wallered out. Not good. Not good. So this new kit comes with all the parts you need. So I'm actually going to push that kit away because I don't want to mix these parts here. But we want to go ahead and thread in our Bowden coupler. Now this one does not matter. We're going to put regular PTFE tubing in here. Nothing crazy, nothing special. Go all the way till it bottoms out. Grab yourself a very sharp knife. And then I'm going to cut off about that much. Give it a little bit of a pigtail. And the reason you'll want to do this is so that you can guide the filament into the extruder with minimal to no resistance. This will still move. It'll still spin. So it's fine. But it keeps everything happy. Now, because we're going to reuse the connector... Oh. Well, we can't. The connector is different. So, we're not going to reuse the connector. We're going to go and get this connector off. Get it out of here. Remember, push down. Oh, come on. Everything about this printer. Why you not move? I pulled off the Z-axis motor because it is getting in the way. Ah. Well, there's your next problem. What the hell? All right, well, this cap tube needs to get cut. We're going to cut it right on that line. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, that was definitely getting in the way. Now, it'll just slide right off. Awesome. I don't think this is a cap tube Bowden connector. I don't trust it. We'll get all that installed in just a bit. We're going to grab the motor. I'm going to get a paper towel and a little bit of alcohol. We're going to clean this off because it's a dirty girl. We got to fix that. The alcohol. Going to clean off this motor because it is filthy. I don't know what this is. Looks like bearing dust. Now, this is fine as long as we let the motor dry. What I just did is totally fine. Now, if I try to run it when it's wet, it'll likely short out and we'll have a bad time. But yeah, like I don't even know what this is. And I'm really worried this motor is also going. Jeez. We got most of it. Got a little bit of oil. We're going to put some oil in there. It's not needed, but there is still some shmoo down there. And I want to make sure that basically whatever oil I just took out or whatever lubricant I just took out, that I do replace it. Because if these bearings do go dry, bad news bears. Okay, the first screw to go in is the countersunk one, because that's the one I know where it definitely goes. And this will hold that stepper motor in place while I get the other ones ready. We're going to want a little button head there. These screws are definitely shorter than the last ones. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is a thing. I can tell you that it is a thing. Okay. Got the old spring and the new spring. They're about the same. They got about the same squish to them, so that doesn't bode well, but probably work. I wonder if I can... Do I have a pair of pliers that I can crush this in? I was going to crush it and heat it up a little bit, but It's probably all right. All right, we're going to put in the tension screw. This is used up against, this is a riv nut, but used up against the riv nut to apply extra tension to the spring, which should not be needed. But it does exist. Oh, sweet. It even comes with a spare, I think they're phosphor bronze, but some sort of a spare bushing. Very cool. This little screw goes up in here, up on this arm, which is where the spring sits in, and just tighten it till it bottoms out. Okay. Now we don't yet... Oh. Well, that's a problem that I didn't foresee. That sucks. The Bowden tube connector gets in the way. Huh. Said it fit this printer, but guess not. What I can do is I can print a plate if I really wanted to. But what I might end up doing is just grinding down that Bowden tube connector so that it fits in. Hey, you know what? Let's do that. Because there really isn't much of a need to ever take this out again, I don't think. So I really want this to fit in there because that is like half the reason that I got this. Yeah, that's frustrating. We could tilt the entire extruder. Would that interfere? Might not. So what we could do is we could tilt the entire extruder and have it feed in through the back. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to interfere with anything. I don't think it's going to. Because if that doesn't interfere with anything, that is, in my opinion, a better solution. Although it might get a little tight for the filaments. So we might end up needing to do a plate to move it. Okay. Ooh. Oh. I think that'll fit. I think that's going to work. And you know what? To me, that's a better move. That's a way better move. Should be much easier to work on this now. Now that we've got these two in, I'd like to insert the Bowden tube. And make sure that I don't think it's going to get too crazy. I mean, that's crazy, but it ain't that bad. I've certainly seen worse. I'm checking to see if it's got decent movement. It does. You know what? I'm going to say that's good. Another thing of note, that stepper motor is abused. All right, let's get this last screw in. Now, I believe this is fine, but if it's not, I'm sure somebody in the comments is already telling me that I'm an idiot. I did it all wrong. Oh, and I don't have the right size Allen key, so this is going to take a minute. By the way, if you like printers, make sure you get subscribed because we do have an IDEX printer review coming very, very soon. I'm excited for that one. I just grabbed the tools out of its tool bag for this video. So there you go. Already got the printer and I've already actually reviewed it. We're just doing things in a different timeline. Okay. Now everything fits, and quite frankly, it's way easier to get together as far as I'm concerned. We have that. We've got our long screw. And gonna get all of that put together. See, and now no matter where they want to put that filament, it's gonna get guided into the extruder nice and cleanly. A little trap out there for those that didn't know, and I got caught, but I have the magic power of editing. Or Andrew, I guess. Be careful, because you must put that hobbed gear on before you tighten down the extruder. Because you cannot fit it in when that red piece is in place. So be careful about that. And of course, it is very difficult to get some of these screws back in. Again, I'm not too worried about the location of this. It appears that it can run just fine. It feels fine to me, at least. Let's get... Whoop! There goes the spring. Springin' sprungin'. Ah! Always push down the hot end when I put a little bit of pressure on it. Okay, then the next step is to get these two hobbed gears aligned as close as possible. Grab yourself your Allen key and make sure that you tighten the set screw onto the flat of the stepper motor. Stepper motors are shaped like a D, and that will keep them in place. Got that tightened up. Everything is happy there. Yeah. Looks like we've got ourselves a finished extruder. Now, I'm going to get ahead of the wear. I'm going to put a little dab of oil. Sorry, I said grease, but put a little dab of oil down there, and that should wick itself into those little cracks and crevices. So let's get this thing heated back up, and let's grab this filament. First, always remember, cut a bit off. I'd like to point something out. I'm going to try to show it on the camera there. Does that filament look round to you? Because it's definitely not. I don't know what shape it is, but it ain't round. One more thing that we want to add. This little Bowden tube clip. We're going to make sure that the Capricorn tube is properly seated. And then go ahead, pop on that clip. Get that Bowden tube clip on there. Beautiful. Now everything is nice and snug. Hot end is at temp, so let's go ahead, feed in. Oh, that's so much easier. Like, so much easier. I'm seeing if I can put a Bowden connector here. That's from the old one, but should be fine. All right, now we got it heated up. I want to check. I'm just going to open this up ever so slightly. Now, one downside is you got to push from back here, which can be a bit of a pain, I guess. Screw it. Just going to do it. Just going to move it. Now that it's gotten it pushed right through, no problems at all, we're going to go ahead and get this fed into the printer. Now, I guess one thing you could do is you could push this Bowden tube connector in, push it in, pull it out. Oh, man, that's really, really gripping. But I could just manually push the filament through myself. And then just reinsert this back in. Now, that really did get damaged, but I think it should be all right. Awesome. All right, so we got this thing moving and a grooving. We're going to oil it ever so slightly again. But she is extruding. And this is much happier. Now, the Bowden tube can be a bit of a pain, but I think the effort is worth it because you're never going to have it messing up. This is an odd orientation. Normally, it, of course, would be rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise to me, of course. But if we want this, it's got to be done that way. And I don't know if they sell them, but sometimes you can get the extruders where they're flipped. But that is a bit of a bummer. You could also make a plate that would move the stepper motor out. You could move it, all the way out to here. I didn't want to hang it that far, and I think the plastic would just kind of not be great over time. So this was actually, to me, the best solution that we had. We got this printer running right. It took a little bit of parts, but that's okay. We got it running so good, it's basically my segue to our sponsor, 3D Musketeers. If you want to get your ideas out of your head and into your hands with full art-to-part rapid prototyping and product development, you can reach out to us, 3D Musketeers. Links will be in that description down below. And if you want to support us directly, you can do so at patreon.com/3dmusketeers, where tiers start as low as $1. Every dollar counts. Your support is greatly valued here. Let's get back to talking about the printer. All right. Well, we got it done extruding. I'm going to pull it out ever so slightly from that hot end so it's not just sitting there and baking. I'm going to bag up all the parts from the old one as well as the spare little washer that came with it. That way they know what it is. But yeah, that is upgrading your Ender 3 hot end from old and busted to new hotness. And on the plus side, they end up with a spare set of gears, a spare set of bearings for those gears, because those bearings will probably wear out here relatively soon. That spare Bowden coupler. And these can all be reused except for that idler arm. Everything else can viably be reused. I could have actually reused this entire section, just chose not to. We had new parts. Let's use the new parts. There you guys go. Upgrading the extruder on your Ender 3 does not have to be difficult. My entire filming time for this is 36 minutes currently. And that includes me completely having to do this twice for the camera and because I screwed it up. So this can be done in less than half an hour. You have the power to do this, and I believe in you. Let me know down in those comments, what do you think of this upgrade? Is this one you're going to do? Do you like the dual Bowden tube, or do you want it where the filament just goes in? I'm not a huge fan because of the damage that occurred to this idler arm. I love that this one came with a spare washer, so technically all I really needed to do was just put the washer on that old kit, but we got the new, so we might as well use it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Love to know your opinions down in those comments. Of course, don't forget to leave a like, get subscribed if you think we deserved it. But stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. I gotta go get my Bowden tube because I'm gonna need that for this. Gotta get the Bowden tube. Gotta get the Bowden tube. I got my little Bowden tube. Little tiny Bowden tube. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed this extruder upgrade on an Ender 3 Pro. Remember, whether you have an Ender 3, a Pro, a V2, a Max, it doesn't matter. They all have the same style extruders, and you too can do this upgrade in less than half an hour. An amazing thank you goes out to our patrons whose names are listed right next to me. And if you want to get your name listed in our credits, make sure that you go over to patreon.com/3dmusketeers and pledge at least the $5 tier. We'll add your name to those credits. You can say hi to yourself every single video that you watch. Right below me is going to be the first video in this series of upgrading your Ender 3, where we struggled with this busted extruder. We dealt with some weird code issues that I'm still working out, but we'll get it solved. And of course, next to that is the entire series on the Ender 3 printer as a whole. I hope you guys will enjoy that one. I'll see you all down in those comments and in the next video. Take care.